Call the regular meeting of the Lake Orion Downtown Development Authority Board of Directors, Tuesday, March 12th, 2019. It is 6:32 p.m. Roll call and determination of quorum, please.
Chairperson Burgess.
Here.
Vice Chairperson Reard.
Here.
Secretary Horvath. Treasurer Romaine.
Here.
Member Barnett. Member Cole.
Here.
Member Knudsen. Member Squarsha. Member Van Poortvliet.
Here.
Chairperson Burgess, we have a quorum, and I had prior notice from Secretary Horvath that she'd be unable to make it and requested to be excused.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We're on to item number 3, approval of minutes, the DDA regular meeting minutes for February the 12th, 2019.
Move to approve. Support.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. On to item number 4, the presentation from the National Main Street Evaluation Report. Welcome.
Thank you. John Bry with Main Street Oakland County, joined with Annika Norris, also with Main Street Oakland County, in case you haven't met Annika yet, which I'm sure most of you have already by now. Something that we're doing differently this year now that we've gotten through the evaluation and accreditation process for Lake Orion, and congratulations again for being accredited. You had a very high score. We've kind of shifted to a scoring system. One thing we want to do differently is we actually just wanted to come out and follow up with the board to just go over some of the things that were pointed out in the accreditation and just make the offer to continue to work with the board and the organization and the staff to continue to address those things so they just don't keep popping up from year to year. So we want to proactively work with you to kind of check those things off the list as we go along. After we return from the National Main Street Conference in Seattle in a couple weeks, anyone, Molly's going? Anyone else going? Debbie's going, all right, good. We'll see you in Seattle. We'll get the official accreditation certificates from National Main Street at that time, and then we'll schedule a time to come back for Village Council meeting and do the presentation officially to you guys like we did last year as well. So just a couple items that I wanted to point out from the report to make the offer to assist you guys. Get to my dog ear.
The report is in front of you. You do have a copy.
Yeah. So on page 7, there was mention about just communication and that you guys do already a lot of good work with communicating to your stakeholders, your businesses, among the local governments and things like that. One thing I wanted to point out, we see this a conversation with a lot of the Main Street communities across Oakland County, both in terms of internal communication among the board, among the volunteers, among the committee, between the city, and then outside of the organization to the downtown, to the district, and to the community stakeholders. So we've actually see this as a pattern that pops up with several of the communities. So our June training that we're going to be doing through Oakland County is actually going to be entirely a one-day session divided into 3 blocks, one on external communication for an organization, how it communicates its message and work and value to its greater community, and then internal communication strategies for the organizations and how they can communicate effectively among all their various partners and stakeholders. And the last block in that one-day session is going to be conflict resolution, because we all know there's no conflict in Main Street, right? Everything gets great and everyone gets along wonderfully and no one has any issue. So we're going to focus into those 3 areas. Again, we're going to do it in one day because we know a day and a half like we've done in the past can be a challenge. And we're going to have it centralized, so we're going to have it in Pontiac on June 19th. And Annika is working on the details and finalizing the speakers, and so you'll be getting information on that soon. So that's one way to get some information that you guys can hopefully take as news you can use to apply to continue to improve in that area for the evaluation. Sure.
And then I hope you guys all take the time to read through this because there's some really good notes, and you guys are doing some great things here. The internal communication was noted that it was extremely impressive with Molly and the city manager, and I think that I can't remember who the other people are that sit down and meet every
Debbie.
Board chair.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, there we go. Sorry. So you guys are doing a lot of really good things, but communication is always one of those things that comes up. So anyway, I just really wanted to point that out because there's some great notes in there. But
Yeah,
We
and-
can always, there's always room for improvement, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And again, you guys had a very high score. We moved to a scoring system this year, and again, you were very high. And I know you guys have had conversations in the past about applying for the Great American Main Street Award, and we have 2 in Oakland County that have snagged that honor with Ferndale and Rochester. And I really feel that you guys could make a serious effort for it and start considering applying for that. I know you've kind of kicked the tires on it before, but I really think Lake Orion is in a good position to be a serious contender nationally. So I'd encourage you to go for it. Another item that was mentioned about historic preservation is an important aspect of the Main Street program. And we have a lot of interest in a lot of our Main Street communities across the county, that there's a lot of development and interest across the board. And you have a wonderful heritage and character here, and I think that's definitely part of the draw for your district, is you have this unique identity physically, and that's something that has been identified as something that we can potentially work through to bring some more historic preservation information type resources to Lake Orion and the DDA that you can explore and look at from your design components of how that could potentially be folded into your conversations and your work plans and your goals and objectives. Because it's important, and as you know, some communities go across the country, they can be loved to death because everyone loves them so much, and then they start to kind of eat away at their fabric and what makes them unique, that people like to come there and spend time and live there. So I think it's an important opportunity for Lake Orion to explore that, and we've got some resources between us at Main Street Oakland County, the folks at the Michigan Historic Preservation Network, which is a statewide nonprofit that can help you kind of figure out what type of conversation you want to have around historic preservation and how that fits into design. Because, we always like to say, great communities out there that look great, that people love the feel and look of those communities, that blend their historic resources, well, they just didn't fall out of the sky like that. The community has made some type of decisions or efforts to try to enhance that or keep that intact. And potentially, as Lake Orion keeps getting knocked on the door by developers, you want to try to balance it. You can have your cake and eat it too. People may not believe that, but you truly can. So there's some resources that we're happy to bring to you in that, and that was one of the items mentioned to keep exploring in the report. Last thing that we were going to point out and ask if you guys have any questions for us was the engaging in terms of fundraising. We've talked about this before. I don't think there is a Main Street organization as a downtown development authority, a principal shopping district, or a nonprofit model of Main Street anywhere in Oakland County that couldn't use more money. Even those that are very flush with cash on paper, that have multi-million-dollar budgets in some cases, they would also be quick to tell you, yes, we could absolutely use more money. And you look at their budget like, what, really? Your Main Street budget's larger than the entire state. But they always say they need more money. So something I know we have kind of mentioned in passing before that we would like to work with you guys on is to explore opportunities on how you can diversify your income beyond what you get with the capture for the DDA. And that's just also good alliance building and friendship building for the organization and for the district. So again, that's another point that was mentioned in the report, to encourage you guys to keep exploring that and looking at options, and we'd be happy to work with you on exploring those options for you on ways that you can potentially expand your budget beyond the DDA world, because most Main Street communities around the country are not DDAs. So we have a good track record of communities around the country, and even in Oakland County, that are expanding their sources of income beyond DDA capture. Just the other day when we had the managers meeting the other day in Birmingham, Joan from the DDA in Clawson mentioned that they're starting to embark on a Friends of Main Street campaign to expand their budget of DDA, because as an example, and I think you'd probably see the same thing in Lake Orion, they have a lot of residential supporters in Clawson who really loves downtown Clawson and loves what they're doing, and they would like to financially support what they're doing. So they're actually looking to create sort of this Friends of Clawson downtown effort where the residential base can contribute to their funding goals and their budget, because their budget with their DDA is actually quite small, and it's also very limited that they're using it for the most part to pay off bonds that they incurred through their streetscape. So they have very little money left over for other things that they want to do. So that's one example, but there's plenty of other things we can show you and work with you too if you choose. So those were just three things we wanted to highlight and point in there. It's a good report. It's a very fast read. I think I read through Lake Orion's report in about 10 minutes. Easy to follow and just kind of capture the main essences and making notes off to the side. And if you have any questions for us while we're here tonight, we're here to answer those. If not, you know where to find us, and we're always available. And we're happy to work with you on those items. Anything else? Anything else? Yeah.
I have a question. I'm always curious. I know this was published January 15th. Is this our first opportunity? I don't think I've seen this prior to this.
We just got them back. When was your evaluation? Your evaluation was on January 15th.
Okay.
You were the first community out of the 13 that got evaluated. So you were the very first. We did not get these reports back until, I want to say, a couple of weeks ago, maybe.
Okay, so this is first release.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah, it hasn't been since January 15th. We just got them back. We reviewed
Great.
them, and then we send them on to you.
Because I noticed there's one area here where we had 8.75 on our adequate operating budget and a couple of 9s that I'm sure everybody will look at because those are ones that we can try to improve.
Yeah, and under the adequate operating budget, Ken, that was 9.75. And I think just the recommendation there was to continue to look for ways to diversify your funding beyond the DDA, and that's where we were talking about.
Okay, great. That's it for me. I thank you. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and you guys had great participation. I think I wasn't here for this one, but it looks like you had about 20 people that participated throughout the day. And from all the communities across the county of the 13 that go through that, that's one of about the highest numbers out of the 13.
Excuse me, when you said apply for something nationally, you're talking about National Main Street Award?
Yeah.
So what does that mean? I mean,
Yeah, the National Main Street.
What do we get, or what's the DDA?
Yeah, the National Main Street Center, a.k.a. Main Street America, they've kind of rebranded themselves here in the last few years. They have something known as the Great American Main Street Award, and communities all across the country can apply to be recognized as one of the Great American Main Streets, and they normally only choose about 3, and it's pretty competitive, and some communities have applied for various times over the years and eventually get it, at some point. But it's basically a national recognition that says, in your case, that Lake Orion has done very exceptionally well in downtown development, following the Main Street tenets and principles, and it really is a boost to the program all of a sudden, because the exposure from being a Great American Main Street Award winner, you can use in your fundraising, you can use in recruiting volunteers, you can use in recruiting business prospects, things like that. And when they announce those communities, they send out the press nationally. So all of a sudden you might be getting a call from the New York Times, or you might be getting a call from the U.S. Today, or the Metro Detroit media might say, hey, Lake Orion is one of the best downtowns in America. And historically, there are 8, I think, in Michigan over the 20 years that they've been giving out the Great American Main Street Awards. The most recent one from Michigan that got it was Howell about a couple years ago. Ferndale and Rochester both got it in the past from Oakland County. But other than Howell, there hasn't been a winner recently since Rochester and Ferndale from Michigan. But it basically says that you guys have done very well over the years with your downtown, following the Main Street program, and it recognizes that on a national level that you can use to your advantage.
Okay.
One city is in the running this year.
And so was Charlotte. They were semifinalists this year. We won't know who the winners are for 2018 until they announce it at Seattle.
So you mean they're our competitor right now?
No. You'd have to apply for 2019.
All right.
And
we'll
there's workshops that they give at the national conference on tips on how to apply, and we're happy to support you guys in application, anything we can do. They say most times the community does not get it in their first attempt at applying, but they encourage communities to kind of keep at it, because it's pretty stiff competition. But if you do get it, it's a huge honor.
So apply for 19, and that is selected and released when?
So if you would apply for 2019, they would make the decision in 2019, but they would announce it at the conference in Dallas next year in 2020.
Oh, okay. All right, good.
And if you do decide to go for it, Molly's going to need some help, because it's quite a big process and lengthy application, lots of support materials that need to go with it.
Yeah.
So, but
And I'm sure we could call on our friends in Rochester and Ferndale to give us some tips since they've already been through it. And another resource that we have in the county, Vivian Carmody, who's the DDA director in Berkeley, her community, when she was the Main Street director for St. Charles, Illinois, they won it. While she was the director there too. So she knows about it, and she has served as a judge on the panel after that point. So there's another resource that can maybe give you some inside tips. So we got 3 folks in the county that have been through it and can give some help if Lake Orion wants to go for it.
Let's go for it.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right. I think Farmington's thinking about it too at some point as well. So.
Could I go off subject and ask you a question regarding something else?
Sure.
The upcoming program at, I believe it's the Strand, the radio.
Yes, the main event. Yep.
Yeah. You're kind of releasing little hints and tips of how to participate in that as we go.
Yep.
And I'm real curious because I've only seen one so far. We've participated at a good level. We normally get a good group of people to go.
Right.
And so you're looking for the villages or communities to participate and come in a theme of some sort.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, what I'm getting to is, can you help us? Give us a little bit of inside track there? Or,
Yes and no, because the main event is the annual award ceremony for Main Street, Oakland County.
Sure.
Where we recognize excellence in about 12 different categories related to Main Street.
Right.
And as you know, the first year, a couple years ago, we redid the main event, and the theme changes every year, and we even moved it to Pontiac.
Right.
So the first year that we revamped the main event, we had the Spirit of Main Street Award, the video, which Lake Orion won the first year for that. So you had to set out last year, and Molly's already indicated to us that Lake Orion is going to be back in that video competition, and they intend to win it. You have competition. There's some trash talk going on between the other communities of who's going to have a better video.
As long as they have to work really hard.
Yes, because Berkeley is looking to throw in there. Ferndale's looking to throw in there. Oxford, your neighbor up the street, is also looking to do a video. I forget who else, but 3 or 4 so far have indicated they're doing videos. So if you win, again, the prize is $2,000 straight to the DDA from Genesis Credit Union. And then we have the other award categories as well, too. And Lake Orion won the Volunteer of the Year one year with Scott Reynolds. Mm-hmm. You won the Spirit Award. I forget what else you guys have won in the last couple of years. But, so the award nominations are due April 1st. No fooling. So April 1st term. But they're due April 1st. The window competition is also in play, too. And we just need sort of an email of intent, which Molly's already submitted to us, about the window competition or the video competition by April 1st as well. But the videos or the window display competitions don't need to be complete until April 15th. But all other award nominations are due by April 1st. And the only hint I can give you, and we tell everyone, don't wait to the last minute every year. It never seems to fail, Molly excluded, because Molly's always been far ahead of everyone else. But all of a sudden we may have 5 submissions from Lake Orion the day before the deadline, and all of a sudden the day of the deadline, 40 other award submissions show up. So from the other communities. The other thing we say, too, to be competitive, we are not the judges. The staff from Oakland County are not the judges. The judges are made up of people from across Michigan and from across the country that work in Main Street or design or some type of professional capacity. So we always encourage the communities when they submit their nominations, and the applications are very simple, really, but to be sure to give some good background on what you're submitting, because they don't know Lake Orion and they don't know the project. And I think in the past, communities assume that we're judging, like, oh, John will know. No, John's not the judge. So we always encourage people to give some detail as much as they can so the judges can make a decision, because we have seen them pass on some really good projects from other communities because the community didn't submit any good support material that really explained what was going on, even though we knew but we weren't part of the process, so they just declined to even give an award. So that's May 9th at the Strand. Everyone welcome. We had about 235 people last year, which was the largest it's been in a long time. It's a old-time radio theme.
Right.
And we'll see you guys there, and we're looking forward to see your video. I still laugh. Molly knows I laugh every time that I watch that Lake Orion video when Pam goes, "Yes to dragons," and she hits the metal dragon, and she goes, "Ow!" and you guys did edit it on purpose, and I laughed every time I watched that. We were walking around the office for a couple days going, "Yes to dragons! Ow!"
And John, I just wanted to, besides that question, I wanted to make a comment. On your way out, please notice our new wayfinding signs.
I did. I saw the one coming up 24 with the downtown arrow pointing. I did see that one. Yeah.
Yeah, we're very excited about them, and everybody's still getting used to them, and so.
Good. Well, we're glad we could help you out on that, too.
Yeah. And our signature signs, they light at night.
I got to see that one. I haven't seen that. Is that the one with the dragon lit up?
Yes.
I gotta see that one.
Yes.
Cool.
Turn left on Flint instead of turning right,
Okay.
just for a second.
I'll go check that out. And we were happy to help you out on that with the technical assistance. So I think that's everything, unless you guys have any questions.
Thank you, John. We really appreciate all of your support.
You're welcome. Probably got tired of seeing us today. I know Joe was here this morning. We're here tonight. Go away, Oakland County. So,
Thank you. Thank you again. Appreciate that. At this time, we'll move on to item number 5, a call to the public. I don't believe I see anyone out there. So we'll move on to item number 6, review and approval of agenda.
Move to approve.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 7, consent agenda. Please note that all items on the consent agenda are approved by one vote. Item number 1, director's report. Number 2, marketing report. And then item number 3, committee minutes and work plan updates.
Move to approve consent agenda.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. On to item number 8, financial matters. Item number 1, parking deck feasibility analysis consultant. This will require a roll call vote. We will need a motion as well.
Parking deck feasibility?
Yes.
For those of you who have a paper packet, it's page
48.
Okay, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, I'll move to hire WGI for parking deck feasibility study at the parking lot for an amount not to exceed $7,400.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Burgess,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes.
Knudsen. Oh, I'm sorry, he's absent. Reard,
Yes.
Romaine,
Yes.
Squarsha,
Yes.
Van Portfleet,
Yes.
Barnett. Motion carries 7-0. I'm short of chair, that's why I got through.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Moving on to item number 2, financial reports. Again, this will require a roll call.
Can I ask a question on that?
Yes.
What's the timing of when we could expect to get that report back on the feasibility study?
Can you speak into your microphone, please?
What's the time, when do we expect to, once we sign the contract and let them go to work, when do we expect to get a presentation back on the feasibility study?
They said that it was a 1-month turnaround, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 1 month.
30 to 45.
Cool. Thank you.
So you need a motion for the disbursements? I'll make a motion to approve the payment of disbursements for the month of March in the amount of $9,890.17. Support.
Roll call, please.
Squarsha,
Yes.
Van Portfleet,
Yes.
Barnett,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Poe,
Yes.
Reard,
Yes.
Romaine.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. We also have a recommended motion, item number 2.
I move that we receive and file the financial reports for February 2019.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 3, the budget for 2019-2020.
I have a short presentation for that.
Yes, please.
All right, so we have total revenue of $874,050, expenditures of $896,050, excuse me. Our fund balance is expected to be $372,808, and at the end of June in 2020, $3,050,808. Our revenues, we've got $640,000 TIF that we are expecting to collect. We've put in there a state grant proposal of $100,000. That will depend on whether we get it or not, and the rest is pretty standard.
What is that grant?
We've got a few different grants that we're looking at. We just wanted to have a record of the revenue that we could then match to the expense if we were able to get them. There's a few that we're looking at. Some are patronicity, and there's a DEQ one and a DNR one that we're looking at.
But the question is, so if we are not successful, will not spend those dollars then?
Correct.
Okay.
General activities, $350,574. Main Street related, $245,605, and capital projects, $292,871. You may have noticed we have slightly less revenue than we have spent. It's $22,000, and that is the facade grant, which historically you have preferred that we take from fund balance. General activities, staffing, $108,686. Village of Lake Orion related expenses, $184,988. Utilities, that's taking care of the street lights, $13,700. And then operations, $50,200. And the operations this year, that's including paying for a planner for the TIF-related project. Main Street related, $245,605. Economic development is including our brand marketing and New Moon Visions, the company we've hired. In the design department, that's where if we receive grants, that's why we have $159,000 in there. If we receive grants, that's where it will be reflected. And we included $20,000 matching, a 20% match. And we would need to raise, if we needed a higher match, we just have to raise it. But that's what we have in there. Capital projects, we're still paying off our streetscape bond. It's $124,800 this year. Between parking and shared lot leases, It's $97,000. This is also including $35,000 paying back our property acquisition fund. If you remember, we borrowed last year $69,000, and we're paying back half of that this year, and that's in that number there. Dumpster enclosures, $26,571. Parks and Rec is a pass-through, it's $29,000, and the rest of it is $15,500. Our current obligations, we have $220,638 specifically for the village, our streetscape bond, the street lights, and our infrastructure projects. So if something were to happen and the DDA were to be dissolved, these are obligations that the village would decide how to take on. What goes back to the village? Bottom line, along with the capital improvements, and I took out the paying back the property acquisition fund here, is $438,009 approximately. And that's with the police pass-through and the Parks and Rec pass-through, and paying some expenses, and the interest they receive from the streetscape loan, and the contracts that we have both for administrative and for DPW. Any questions?
I have one. I'm sorry, I was looking for that information in our packet, but it's not, is it, in the electronic packet?
No, this presentation isn't in the packet.
Okay. Back a couple of slides back, there was $97,000 for parking lot leases and, I want to say, costs, shared.
Yeah, the shared lot.
Go ahead.
Shared lot leases, we're expecting about $10,000, based on what we've paid so far for the sharing, the reimbursing taxes.
Okay, my issue is I don't recall that number being that large for any reason. So
we were not reimbursing every single parking lot in the past, and what we're thinking is if we talk to every single private parking lot in the downtown area that we can talk to, there may be some more fees, so we put the more fees in there.
Oh, that's speculation. Okay, because truly that number I think has only been, like you said, $10,000 roughly. How much?
That's what we have set aside right now, $10,000.
5. So we're expecting
spend like $3,500 or so, yeah.
We're expecting an $87,000 increase, possibly.
Possibly. We have a lot of parking lots that we're going to be talking to. I mean, we won't, but we do have quite a few parking lot or owners of parking lots that we want to talk to.
Okay.
Is there somewhere in here, I don't, maybe I'm missing something, but these people that are going to be going around and taking pictures of license plates, and where's that at in here, and how much is that going to cost? Where's that money coming?
That's part of the police budget.
Oh, okay.
Could I make a comment?
But excuse me.
I'm sorry.
So that's part of there's a budget from the police department that pays for. Okay. So I mean, do they come up with ticket money or something, or?
Well,
how do they budget that?
Well, the council, we created a parking fund.
Okay.
That pays for the enforcement officers, which is to be paid, supported by the tickets, the fines that they are charging. That's
because Jerry said they didn't want to give tickets.
They don't.
I'm just asking a question.
Chris?
I have a couple questions. Does this reflect the increase that the DPW is asking for? That remember we talked about the four-wheeler and then they wanted more money. Did we increase that? It doesn't look like we did. Do we not want to?
We're
I'm
kind
not,
of waiting.
I'm not trying to ask a trick question, I don't know.
Well, we're waiting for the snow removal issue. We've bid it twice, and that issue's yet to be resolved, so potentially that's something we can negotiate depending on if we can't find anybody else to do it, if we can find a seasonal person. So that's still an open item.
Okay.
So it might change on a project base as projects come up.
Okay.
And then that might next year change the,
Should we not budget a higher number, though, because that was an issue? They wanted more, I mean, should we, or, no?
we're good
Okay.
right now.
I'm happy to see that we're keeping the brand marketing, like a good chunk of change there. How do we decide how we spend those dollars? Is it just boosting posts? Is that paying for an intern? Talking about economic development, brand marketing, we have budgeted, $21,000, or no, we have budgeted $19,400.
Right, that is paying, we have print advertising in there, we have, we do have social media in there.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got some publications.
Okay. That's good.
I believe the Orion Living is part of that as
Okay.
well.
I was kind of getting at that. I didn't answer it yet. And then I see we put $2,500 for the restroom cleaning, which is good, at the fire station. So have you guys communicated with the fire chief and the fire department on how that's going to work, or should we talk about that, or?
It's a
I haven't heard
three-year
anything in a while. I'm
contract.
just curious what.
Yeah, it's a 3-year contract, and I mean, it's been working
Who have
out
you
the
been
details.
working with at the fire department? Anybody?
Who?
Have you been working with anybody at the fire department?
Chief, right?
John Pender is who
Okay.
communicated with.
I just hadn't. I asked those guys. I asked our chief this morning, and he didn't know. I just was. So I was going to ask that question tonight. So I saw it when I was reviewing the packet yesterday that it was budgeted, which is good. Just trying to close the communication loop just to see. And it says 100 days. When does that start? So just, I'd love to know details. Maybe not. Doesn't have to be right now, but just so we can make sure everybody knows what's up.
At this point, we're not aware of any issues. But
The-
there hasn't been much use of it.
I'm not saying there's any issues at all. We're hopeful it's going to get used a lot once the weather gets more like it is today. All I'm saying is it's just nice if it's, probably the battalion chiefs, so the three shift command leaders know, like, hey, this is the company, they're going to come and go. Just so that could be done through the John Pender, the assistant chief, or Rob Duke, the chief. But just closing that loop, right? So we know what's going on, that's all. I'm not being critical at all. I'm just curious more than anything.
We'd be happy to take care of that.
Okay, cool. And I'm excited. Thank you for including that, by the way.
I have a question. Have we budgeted for the repair of the intersection with the sidewalks and the sand? I didn't see anything about it.
It's in this year's budget.
It's in this year's budget.
It's in this year's budget.
Is that in design? Is that a design thing?
I think capital projects. It might be in design. I can get back to you on that.
Anybody else have any questions?
I have one
Yes.
more. Yeah, for the Parks and Rec, I think it was 29. So is that for all of the parks, or?
A millage, the township successfully got a millage for their Parks and Rec department, and there's pass-through funds that come to the DDA based on the properties, and the DDA pledged those dollars to the Paint Creek bank stabilization projects. So that's what is happening with it right now. It's $800,000 worth of repairs that need to be done to make the creek healthy.
So,
And we pledged our CDBG dollars for that as well. So the township put our community development block grant dollars toward the bank stabilization project as well.
So does the Parks and Rec Committee have their own budget for taking care of the equipment and things of that then?
Yes.
Like that? So it seems like the only two parks that are really taken care of are the Children's Park, you know, down here, and then the one over at Greens Park. But it seems like the other ones are like out of sight, out of mind.
The Parks and Rec Committee, they're a committee of volunteers.
Right.
They are, the village is helping get a nonprofit organization set up for them.
Okay.
And once they have a charitable status, they'll be able to do some fundraising that has, you know, been a bit more challenging right now. So,
Okay.
Mr.
The
Young?
Parks and Rec Committee meets monthly now, and on their list every month is update on maintenance on all the parks with the DPW director there. And we address some various issues that may come up and take care of them. So that's all the parks.
Okay.
They go, matter of fact, they have meetings in each park, just to let you know.
Okay.
During the year, they go out and actually visit them.
Okay.
I have one more question, sorry.
Yes.
I'm really happy to see the TIF plan update we budgeted for, and we have for in the planner services section. Did we get an estimate on, that's a good number from the planner? That's what they think, that'll cover what we're trying to do there? Because it shows TIF plan update and parking deck feasibility and analysis.
Well, parking deck is this budget
I
here.
understand,
and-
but,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So the 10,000 is for the TIF plan update? Okay. All right,
That's a
good.
very conservative number in comparison to other communities.
Okay, good. That's a higher number than we expect to spend? No. Well, that's what I thought. I'm concerned it's too low.
Yes.
And my only thing, you guys have been hearing me not complain, but passionately talk about this for probably 3 years. This is our number one priority. We don't have to worry about any of these projects if we don't renew our if we don't renew our plans. So if we think maybe we should bump that number up if we think it's too low, because that's what I thought. I thought it might be low.
The proposals, we're going to be getting the proposals, I believe, on the 21st or 22nd, next week. Yeah, 21st, next week. So there is still time for us to adjust our budget if we're grossly incorrect about our estimate.
All right, cool.
It's actually a good, when we did the budgeting, I even made that comment, should we throw more in there? And so there's no attorney expected to be needed for this? It's just a consultant?
We do have legal services listed as well.
Okay.
But I'm happy to see it in there, listed. That's good.
Okay, does anyone else have any questions, any comments?
One thing,
Yes, Mr. Young.
this budget is scheduled to be presented to the village council next Monday night at 6 o'clock. So the DDA is scheduled on March 18th, Monday at 6 o'clock to present this budget. I'm not sure.
You're all welcome to attend, right?
I struggle with our process. I'm just going to put it out there. I know there's been 10 o'clock Friday morning meetings, correct?
I'm sorry?
I struggle with our process.
9 a.m.
9 a.m. Friday morning budget meetings.
Oh, those.
Well, no, I think that's what, and then the budget gets put together, and tonight we have it before us just for, this is a short observation period. I mean, we got it technically Friday, but I would have liked to have gotten a printed copy just to go through, because that data is different than anything we've got here, even electronically, and that would be nice to have had as well.
There is a printed copy. Debbie has a pile there.
I know, but we're expected to vote tonight to approve it to send it to the village council. Mm-hmm. And for me personally, I haven't had enough time to really look at it. On 9 a.m. mornings, I work, and I attended one. But, gosh, I'm just not, I like to look at it with more effort. And I know it's really important. I, too, agree that it's great that we have some dollars in there for TIF and so on and so forth, but I just don't feel that I've really reviewed it enough in myself. Now, I'm fortunate because I get to do this again at the village council level. But if I wasn't sitting on a village council, I probably would not approve it tonight because I haven't really reviewed it well. But that's just my comment. I have a problem with our process. I think it needs to try to get out to us a little bit quicker and have a meeting that we can have another meeting for any other discussion before it goes to village council. But that's just my thoughts.
I do want to say that I really appreciate those who have volunteered to be on the budget committee and have met, and I appreciate Mr. Young meeting with us to go over the budget and all of the effort that has gone into, because it is very laborious. I mean, it's there's a lot that goes into this, and so we appreciate everybody who has volunteered their time and really participated in the process. It would be nice, yes, if we had it longer in our fingertips, but the truth is, some of the data just comes in, and you just slide some of those numbers in as soon as you get that information, and it's not always 2 months ago that we had that data. So can we improve? There's always room for improvement. Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah. So just a comment to maybe add to an observation and for next time.
Okay.
I'll make a motion. Recommend that the attached budget for inclusion in the Village of Lake Orion 2019-2020 budget.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We are on to item number 9, new and old business. Number 1, community magazine contract. Again, this will require a motion and roll call, please. Page 96, 97.
This is for the Orion Living magazine. The DDA is planning to use 2 pages each quarter. It will be published quarterly. It's going to be a very nice quality magazine, and the graphics have been coming together. The things that we've seen have been very nice. We're expecting to be paying anywhere from $300 to $150 per page. It's going to be offset by ads in the magazine, sales of the ads. So it might. We expect that really it will be less than this, but we're not asking for more than $2,400 for the 2 pages each quarter.
Which magazine is it?
It's a brand new magazine. Chris, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, do you have any of the pictures or anything to show? No. Okay.
What's the distribution?
25,000. So every address in the township, village, and then a little bit further because it'll be all the students in the district. So some Oxford, some Clarkson, some Pontiac, and then we're gonna, which we have about just over 15,000 households. So we're gonna print 25,000 so that there will be at local businesses. We'll be distributing them for free.
Oh, okay.
So there'll be. So basically...
So the township's producing it then?
Well, we went out for RFP. We're kind of taking the lead on it, but it's the township does the quarterly outreach is what we do. It's web printed. Is that the right term? Mm-hmm. Chintzy. I mean, it's like...
Yeah, that's what was there was
So
before,
we're replacing
right?
the outreach.
Right.
We're replacing the library link. We don't... The DDA doesn't really do mail, but and then we're replacing... there's the chamber... the district, the school district, the township, the village, and DDA, and did I say the schools? So anyway, we're all.
I got you. Okay.
So the kind of the goal, purpose, thought is, we've been talking about this for 5 years, is that it's one publication instead of everybody getting multiple. That's higher quality, so it truly is looks like a nice magazine. It's called Orion Living. We got a bunch of proofs on what it's going to look like. And it'll be quarterly. It's not just going to be chock full of ads. It'll be information. We're going to have a community calendar aspect. So, you know, for years we've been talking about having one place where we can stack the events so we're not competing against each other. So that's kind of the goal. That's kind of the thought behind it. And it's nice because all the groups are really working well together and realizing the benefit of us kind of doing one nice, better quality joint publication than 4 or 5.
So it's going to be direct mailed, it's not inserted?
Yeah, correct. It's nothing to do, yeah, every mailbox will get it direct mail.
Okay.
And then there'll be, not 10,000, but, you know, let's say 8,000 additional copies that will be distributed throughout the community at shops and restaurants and, you know, places of business, chamber office, DDA office. So what we've seen so far is it's going to be really nice. It'll be something that we can really kind of be proud of. So,
At what point in the count does the ad cost go down? Like publication will be 25,000, goes to 30, then the cost goes down from 300 to 250? Or?
Well, we went out for RFP for 48 pages, and then we have now increased it. We got new bids from, because we're going to probably be around maybe 60 because of ads. And we've got a lot of interest in the ads, a lot of interest in ad space. It's not cheap, and because we think it's going to be well received. So I don't have a specific answer to your question, Ken. Jenny in my office is really, you know, kind of quarterbacking the whole thing.
Sure.
The worst case scenario for the memo, though, would be, well, what's in front of us tonight. We anticipate that number's going to go down. The other thing that we talked about is all the ads will reduce the total cost per page for everybody. Mm-hmm. So we're all kind of working together. You know, let's just say your beautiful flooring shop decides to. We did. I thought you did, yeah. So you know, we don't want the fighting. Like the library says, well, we talked to Debbie and we wanted to. So we basically all mutually agreed that all the ads, we're all kind of working to promote the magazine, but all the ads don't necessarily count towards one entity or the other. It just reduces the total cost per page. So based on the number of pages, the schools are doing 4 to 8. We're doing a lot. We're doing a handful because we're trying to convey out information about our programming. DDA is doing 2. So, and if the DDA at some point says we want to do 4 because the cost is $150 per page and we budgeted $600, maybe we increase to 4. So we're not going to know all those real hardcore specifics.
Don't know the trigger yet, but more to come.
Right. I mean, the first edition is going to be this summer. It's going to be quarterly, so we're targeting a June publication. We went through the township bid process for the public, for the producer. Mm-hmm. You could speak better to like the proper term. And then the cool thing I think is that we did also a separate RFP for the design and, you know, design. Is that the right? Putting it all together and taking the content and the formatting and stuff. And Teresa Fiorani, who a lot of us know, Canoe Circle Graphics, she's local. She was not the lowest bidder, but the lowest qualified bidder, the best quality, and she lives in Lake Orion. She's like super gung-ho, and she's local, and the other companies that bid were like Ann Arbor, Colorado. So that's cool, too. And she's like really taking it on because she's excited about it. So that's another nice.
She does a great job.
So anyway, that's kind of what I know. I probably said way more than I needed to, but I don't know if anybody has any other questions. We literally have been working on this for 5 years. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be, the goal is, it's not just going to be a whole bunch of ads. We don't want people to just take it right from their mailbox to the recycle bin, which we know a lot of people do with the outreach. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people do with some of these. We want it to be something that you take and there's meaningful information and it looks nice and you actually put it on your coffee table or in your dentist office or wherever because it's actually something that's very nice. So there'll be some editorial pieces to it. One of the things, we have an editorial board, so we're looking for content. So, you know, we might highlight, hey, the restaurant scene in Lake Orion, one episode or issue. You know, so we're looking to have it be more of again, something that's not just, oh, it's just a whole bunch of swimming classes for the kids, and I don't have any kids, so it's going to go right in the recycle bin. So that's kind of the goal and intent. And then again, the other side benefit is if we do it right and we have a good and people are using it, we have, my dream would be to have one great spot for the next quarter. You can see all the great events that are happening with the local nonprofits and the zombie run, walk, pub crawl, because we constantly hear that complaint that there's not really one good spot to go to. And we all, the Lions Club is scheduling stuff the same night that the Rotary had a fundraiser, and people were all drawing from the same people. So that we're hoping that the center fold of the magazine would be something that people could tear out, put on the refrigerator for that quarter. Yeah, there's kind of with the optic, the font, the cover, but there's some other cool stuff. I don't know if she sent it in that email or not. So that's kind of the scoop on it. So if anybody's if you're listening to this and you're like, wow, this sounds really cool and I'm excited, let me know and we'll get you on the little committee that's helping put it together. I know everyone here is already very busy, but we're not paying any staff. All the expenses being paid for to Teresa's time and printing the stuff. All the organizations are volunteering to pull content and help sell ads.
So I guess I would liken it to our very own local Hour magazine.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Which we got them to price it, and they were like $100,000 per printing or something.
Which is a coffee table piece.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Good.
Question. How do you advertise?
Yeah. We'll push you, I'll send an email to this group tomorrow with the ad specs.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Anybody else have any? Okay. We're still looking for a motion.
I'll make the motion to sign the attached community magazine contract on behalf of the DDA board, agreeing to pay for 2 pages of the magazine to be signed by DDA Chair Debbie Burgess.
Support.
Could we add,
Shouldn't it include not to exceed $2,400?
Not to exceed $2,400.
Support.
Roll call, please.
Barnett,
Yes.
Burgess,
Yes.
Cole,
Yes.
Reard,
Yes.
Squarsha,
Yes.
Romaine,
Yes.
Van Porfleet.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. On to item number 9, 2 DDA board member recommendations to the village council.
Jordan Knudsen has sent us in a resignation letter. He's got some projects that are keeping him very busy. He wanted to make sure everyone knew that he was still a big fan of the downtown, and that if there is a project in which his talents could be best used for as a volunteer project, he definitely wants to make sure that we contact him. We have 2 applicants that have given paperwork to the clerk. The first one is Dr. Caruso, who is a property and business owner, Caruso Chiropractic. And then we have Matt Schell, who has been the Economic Vitality Chair for about a year, and he lives in downtown. He and his family walk downtown to go to dinner and to come to the events. And he's also, just telling you trivia, he's also a very avid runner, and he often ends up in the local races. He's one of the top runners. But anyway, these are both people who are very interested in the downtown itself. They have a vested interest, both of them, in different ways. And I'll just keep talking about the law. PA 57 of 2018, that is the DDA law, and one of the parts of our law is that our village council president appoints people to the board. So our role today is to make recommendations.
So our first recommended motion is to accept the resignation of Jordan. And then our second recommended motion is to accept the applicants that have applied. Correct?
Correct. I'd like to make the motion to accept the resignation from Jordan Knudsen from the DDA board effective March 12th, and request the village clerk to send a letter of appreciation. And I really mean that, a letter of appreciation to thank him for his service.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We will make sure, in response, we will make sure that we send a letter of appreciation.
He did some good stuff here.
Yes, he
He
did.
helped a lot with the marketing. Are we, there's obviously 2 applicants and 1 name that's recommended. Is that accurate?
No, we have 2 applicants, and then our village council president, then
Correct.
he will, after interviews, he will appoint. Correct?
Correct.
Is there room for 2 people or just 1?
Right now, there's a choice, or one is the resignation. And there's 2 applicants, so I'll interview both and then make a decision based upon interview. And also their application qualifications.
So, do we need to even take action? Because it's going to be Ken's choice anyway.
It's good to show support of the applicants that have applied.
But all I'm saying is the packet only says Dr. Caruso. We want to.
There's an update.
Okay.
It's been updated.
Okay. All right. Well, then I would move that we recommend to President Van Portfleet to interview Mr. Shell and Mr. Caruso to potentially serve on the Downtown Development Authority Board.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. On to item number 10, reports and updates. Executive Director?
All right. DIA Inside Out Arts Installation begins on April 15th. We're currently in the process of getting authorization from all the property owners. And they will be here through July 15th. It should be pretty interesting. I got email from, there's lots of areas of the DIA, and today, right before I came up here, I got a DIA partnership proposal, and I'll tell you more about it once I talk to them. But it sounds like they have a program where they will co-create a work of public art, and they are asking if Lake Orion would like to be involved in that program. And they have some murals here and a statue. These are projects that they've done in different communities. Anyway, so I'll tell you more later, but I was excited to receive that. I didn't know that that was a program that they did. Please let me know if you're planning to attend the main event. It's going to be May 9th. It's at the Strand Theater in Pontiac, and it'll be, I believe it starts at 6:30, and Slo's Barbecue caters the event. And it's nice, a nice event. It's always has a good presentation about all of the other things that are going on in the area. The Oakland County Economic Outlook Luncheon is on April 26th. That one is, it's a pretty interesting view on, they have economic experts come in and they talk about what's happening in Oakland County and what the forecast is, and how different things that could happen would change how we're doing. And it's just interesting, so let me know if you'd like to attend that. And I got a notice and from Becky Goodman. She's the Michigan Downtown Association Board Chair, and she has officially informed me that I am now an MDA board member. I've just been appointed, and I'm replacing Dana Walker, who they've recently hired as their new executive director.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Becky used to live right across the street. And she was our DDA director years ago.
So I believe my first official MDA board meeting is going to be tomorrow in Lansing, where I'll be for 2 days. I'm going to be up there. The first one is the advocacy luncheon, and if you want to come, please let me know. I'll make sure that we have room for you. And the second day is a workshop, and I am partnering with Kate Knight from Farmington and Kathleen Edgerly from Howell to talk about volunteers and how important all of you are and how to take care of you and all of those things. So that should be an interesting 2 days. Meanwhile, in the middle of all that, we've been getting some videos together for Lake Orion, and we've hired an intern. You know, we never know when we're going to find somebody that fits our program, but we found somebody. So this person has been working on some videos with us. The first one is a kind of a Main Street story, kind of that the Oakland County has been doing, and they're doing a presentation at Main Street now in Seattle, the conference. So hopefully the Lake Orion video will be included in that presentation, and it'll be seen nationally, at least at Main Street now. And then the second one, of course, is the Main Street, Spirit of Main Street contest video. And as John mentioned, we won the first year. We were ineligible to run last year, so we're in the running again. And I want everybody to work really hard to beat us. I mean, I think, and even, we just need to, we'll just do a great video, and it'll be great to talk about Lake Orion, and that's fun. It's always good. We've got an Iron Bell grant that is going to be going in, and the grant is kind of focusing on creating more bike parking for the trailhead. We've been designated as the Iron Bell trailhead in this area, which is great news.
Congratulations. Yay.
Yes. So we're asking for, bike racks kind of spaced out in the little cutout area that used to go up the hill next to Wine Social. That part of that belongs to the village, and we can kind of, it's not great for car parking anymore, but it would be great for bike parking. And then also a map of the trail itself and information about the trail. Fingers crossed. It's a $50,000 grant. It is now time to update the DDA lease. I'm looking for some people to kind of help negotiate that. I know that that has always been done in the past. We've always kind of discussed the lease with whoever we're going to lease from. So I need someone who can help, and I'd love to have somebody who's done that in the past and has kind of some background. So please let me know. And then lastly, we have our priorities. We kind of named our priorities. Now we have some kind of pretty large projects that we could be doing in downtown. And of course, as it always is, we have more projects than we have money. So it's kind of time to try to prioritize what those will be. And I would love to have some help. Some people give us some input on that too. So let me know if you are interested in being part of that process also. And
I'm interested.
Thank you, Lloyd. Okay. All right. That is all I have.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh, the award nominations? I think we have plans for applications to maybe all but 2 of the award categories.
What 2 are we missing?
Well, I didn't bring that packet with me. I can give you an update later on. I think so. We have a lot of work to do, actually, to do that application.
So for the DIA art pieces, is this a done deal? I mean, when are we going to do that?
The installation happens April 15, and I do have paperwork for you to sign. Your building was one of the ones that was chosen.
Right, okay.
How many pieces?
I think it's 12. It's 12 pieces. It's a pretty big installation, and it's all over town. The furthest south it goes is on our Paint Creek Trail extension, and the furthest north it goes is right here in the side yard of Village Hall. I know. Yeah, July 15.
Wow, because that's a cool thing. It's really cool.
You know, I just thought, will they be leaving it up during the Jubilee or taking them down? Okay. All right.
And there's most of them in the downtown area, they're affixed to walls. And there's a few areas like in the parks where they're freestanding. But they
So are they like enclosed in plexiglass or something like that? Or
they're... They are reproductions of art from their collection, but it's all weather-safe materials that they use. And it's gold-gilded art museum framing. So, but it's not enclosed in plexiglass, no. It's right out there. You can touch it.
Oh, okay. I'm just curious.
That's really impressive. Thank you, Molly. Appreciate that. Mr. Young?
Yeah, I had a couple of things just wanted to, Molly had mentioned. One of them is next Wednesday we are kicking off our Clinton River Watershed Council Water Towns program. You remember last year they came and offered, and we were selected to be the community this year that they will come in and have Lawrence Tech people, Tech University review and look at our parks and what they might suggest we consider doing and looking at some funding opportunities as well as providing funding. So we're excited about getting that going. On March 22nd, MDOT has scheduled their final design plan meeting for the M24 resurfacing and reconstruction. And so that's coming up. We're going to make sure we get the widened sidewalks on the bridge and the pedestrian crossing and, of course, the Indianwood intersection project. So that's moving forward. We did, I don't know if everybody's aware, but we did, the council did approve a lease arrangement amendment with Verwood Apartments that would reduce the number of required spaces from 23 to 8. That property is not closed yet, but it is one of those projects that is going to be moving up the priority list to make that roadway back to be two-way, Front Street there, and also provide parking, part of which would be the Verwood. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that. The Parks and Rec Committee met, and they are going to be recommending on having kayak and paddleboard rentals during the day. And we're excited about having that addressed to the council. So it's hopefully going to benefit the park attendance and activities for the community and those on the lake already as well. So we're excited about getting that going. And I think those are the exciting things going on. Thank you. One of the parking committee. Is everybody aware of the Parking Study Committee is recommending we do a phased approach with our 6-hour parking, addressing the employee and resident issues, and there's a phased plan starting in April, and then the next step in June, where we're going to be asking them not to park in the 6-hour spaces on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then in August, asking them to not park there anytime. So just so you know, our enforcement officers agents will be on board with the new passport technology, so hopefully we'll be better managing our parking for our customers for the downtown, and as well as accommodating, of course, employees and residents. That's all.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Now we're on to item number 11, other business and board member comments.
Hi. Lots of good stuff happening. We have I'll pass these down if you're interested. State of the Township is on the March 27th. Lots of good news to report. And some fun stuff too. One of the cool things that just came out just this weekend was SafeWise. They're the leading resource for all things safety and security. Ranked Orion Township one of the top 100 safest communities in America for 2019. We ranked number 79. There were only 2 Michigan communities on the list, us and I think it was Milford. So that's pretty cool, pretty exciting. And after we received this recognition, you know, that was for the final crime numbers in 2017. And we just finished the reports for 2018, and we had a 16% reduction from 17. So we're going in the right direction. So that's cool. And we have 4 big projects happening at the township. We're working on an addition at Station 3, Fire Station 3. We're moving our admin there, our chief, our fire admin staff there. We're doing an addition on our DPW building. We are working on renovating Peterson Lodge at Camp Agawam, and we are building a new township hall. And we're paying for all, the Peterson Lodge project is part of our Parks Millage, but the other 3 projects, we're paying for them all without a tax increase. So our revenue from the landfill and from the medical marijuana facilities is going to pay for our new buildings. So that's what we're busy with. We're busy with a lot of stuff. So, and then the last thing is the Miracle League Field. Had lunch today with that group, and we are really, really pushing hard for our June 15th opening day out at Friendship Park. Obviously, there's nothing done yet, but as soon as the weather breaks, you're going to see lots of activity out there. So that's exciting.
That's cool.
Staying busy. Thank you.
First, I have that art sheet signed, so I needed to get that today. I planned it today, but it didn't work out. And I would be willing to help you out with the leases because I do that currently for my family's business anyway. So I read those all the time. Other than that, we have a new printer at the shop, so you're all welcome to come and check it out. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah,
So,
I just want to hear stuff printed on there.
no, it's actually a new garment printer.
Oh,
It even talks.
I
too,
want to
so
hear
it's
it
got-
talk. That's,
Yeah, it just says Epson, so it's kind of cool. Other than that, that's all I got. So.
I don't have anything. I'm just excited about everything going on. Just like Maureen's doing great things. Just the best ever. So, yeah. That's it.
I was going to offer to help with the lease, but I would cross it off my list. This is more of a comment, or actually a question, maybe to Joe or anyone that knows. What's the progress on the Anita's Kitchen? Do we know?
I have information on that. Well, what I have right now is their liquor license minus one bit of paperwork that they are asking the village to change some wording on. That part is done. So now both of our new restaurants that aren't open yet, they both have valid liquor licenses. I mean, this one minus the paperwork. It'll pending the paperwork. They have a special event planned for April 15. I just walked through there, and I did not see kitchen equipment. I don't know how fast kitchen equipment moves in. They do have the big vent, and the drywall is going up. It looks like a restaurant minus furniture and minus paint. So maybe that can be done by April 15. I don't know.
Okay. And then my last thing is anything moving on that lake development with all that stuff for sale?
Not at this moment. I did hear today they're waiting on some property issue to be resolved. So it's still being in the works.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
I have one thing. At the last meeting during the comments, I had asked if the parking committee could reconsider this 23-hour parking thing. I've never heard from anyone on it. The next thing I know, the 6-hour signs went up, on both the lots. Yet there's still a sign that says that other parking lot was donated by the Zaraga family, and it's 23-hour parking. So it's confusing. And that lot behind the Fork and Pint, which I thought is supposed to be a 24 or 23-hour lot, that lot is filled up totally every morning. So I just think it's not right, the way it's being done. I think that should be a 6-hour lot, and the lot behind Lockhart should be a 23-hour, parking lot. So,
Me to respond? The
Please.
parking committee did consider that, and there's another meeting this Monday at 5:15 coming up before
okay,
the
I'd
DDA
like to-
budget.
Okay, I'll go to it then.
Okay.
We've been talking about that, Lloyd, and if I could, I've been watching that in the mornings. And I watched it the other morning, and there were 7 cars there. It wasn't full, but there were 7 cars. And I asked Joe, I said, Joe, where are the people that have those cars? Where are they? What's the utilization? So I expect, because we're just starting right now in our very first phase, a registration process of employees and residents and so on and so forth. And some of that will get ferreted out with that information as to who's actually doing what down here and how are they participating. Because I'm not sure where those cars even are coming from. So it'll be interesting. But it'll
Well, one thing that you just said, Joe, was that they're asking employees not to park in the 6-hour lot. But at the meeting that I went to at Lockhart's, a business owner specifically asked the chief where her employees could park because they're on 6-hour shifts, and he said they could park in the 6-hour lot.
For now.
Okay, so
Phase 1's coming.
right out of a 3-phase program. More to come. We'll come to the next meeting.
I will.
Well, we appreciate your input, definitely. I'd just like to say we greatly appreciate everybody who has been volunteering their time on extra committees, the parking committee, the budget committee. There's a lot happening, and it can't be done without our volunteers. So please know that we appreciate your time and your commitment and your input because you are valuable to what we do downtown. And again, I especially want to thank Mr. Joe Young for making himself available every Monday to meet with Molly and I. I hope you guys are experiencing some of the improvements that we've been working towards as far as the DDA packet and the budget and communication. So we are trying to be very mindful of working towards those goals. So we appreciate your patience with us, and I hope you're experiencing some of the benefits. Yes.
I just want to add a couple of comments. I didn't have the opportunity yet, so I apologize if you're done.
Please feel free.
Okay. Joe and I attended a meeting held by the county, and it was health in planning, and it's a concept I had not considered previously. And what it's about is everything from creating a community that participates in health to individuals to restaurants and food resources, but like biking and hiking and stuff like that. And so more to come. As I thought about that somehow, some way will push into some of the plans for DDA in the future too. So I just wanted to mention it because it's got some great value and it's out there. And also at the village council meeting last night, the village approved a turkey trot in the Thanksgiving time period, which will be fairly successful. It's in conjunction with the township. It's to be held on Paint Creek Trail. And excited. It's going to bring in, I think, probably around first year, did he say 1,200 people?
He's hoping.
1,200 people. So, and then that same event organizer is coming back to ask us to do a triathlon, which would be canoeing or kayaking from the DNR launch over to Greens Park. You get out, and then you do a bike and a run. And that will be coming up, too, as a possibility in the future. We've got a number of events here, 40 events. Those are a couple of new ones that might have some great promise and some good results going forward. I did want to ask about our 10 videos per month and how we're doing on those. I was thinking about it today. We're still producing 10, correct?
I can have her start reporting on that. I'll include, she keeps adding things, so it is being added. I can have that added to the marketing report so that everyone is up to date on what's being produced.
Well, I'm just thinking, I don't participate every day on Facebook, so I haven't seen them.
Well,
how
go
do
to
they-
the link at lakeorion.org. On the sidebar, there's a link to the YouTube channel, and you can see them there.
So how do we get them out there, though? Like, if you just have a regular person like me, who's seen them here? Everybody seen them? Go ahead.
I've not seen it on social media.
Okay.
Well, I can ask her for advice on how to make sure that you are all seeing it, but I know that they're on the Downtown Lake Orion page. However you make the Facebook algorithm work, I'm not sure. I think you have to make a comment on a video that you see, and then Facebook starts giving you more of those videos once you make a comment. They want to know what they want you to be. They want to give you more of what you're engaged in, I believe is the simplified version.
So if I'm understanding correctly, those videos don't go directly to Facebook? You go to the...
No, they're on Facebook. They're on Facebook, but they're not necessarily going directly to you unless you have commented on a video in the past.
Okay.
Then they start sending you more videos.
How about, as a suggestion, because I get emails from you, I get emails from Joe, I send emails out to other people, can we have some links that we can include in our signatures?
Ooh, that's a neat idea.
So when I sent an email to Andrew Meisner, thanking him for his presentation last night, there's a 10-second video spot of our community that can change occasionally.
So you have to go on the Lake Orion page in order to see them?
Or you can go to lakeorion.org, and on the sidebar, there's a link that goes straight to our YouTube channel that has all of them. Yeah, right now it's on Facebook, and it's on the Lake Orion website from the YouTube channel. So if you subscribe to our channel on YouTube, you would also get them.
Yeah, how are people driven to our site to see them? Like, how do they know that they're
Well, the people who are commenting on them are seeing them. I mean, this is social media, and I can ask those questions of Kim. I don't know all of the answers about social media. But they're out there. She's actively doing it, and we're getting compliments on our social media campaign.
It might just be as simple as, if you search something online, then you start seeing it on Facebook. I just researched something about golf the other day, and now I'm getting all this Facebook.
Yeah, you're being fenced.
She was actually in my business today, and so I asked her if there was a way that my business could partner with the videos from the DDA so that my customers would see the videos that are being posted here, and then if they like them, then their friends see them, and then if they like them, then their friends see them. So that's a conversation that she and I are going to be working on together. So I don't know if that's going to tie in with the information that some of us are looking for, but at least I kind of brought it to her attention that I'm looking for a way that we can broaden the audience of those little videos. I'm not a techie person. My son says, "Mom, you're dangerous. You just know enough to be dangerous." But at least I'm looking for feedback from her on how we could do that and be more successful in the promotion of those moving forward. So
One way we can do that is with James. What James does is specifically using him to create target ads based on that to push them to people. So if people search something and they're in this area and we fence this area off and we say, hey, we're looking for this, then and they go somewhere and look for that, they're going to see that. So that's what James' company essentially does. And they are, I believe, the either first or second biggest company for that in the United States. I mean, they're a huge company for that. So that would be something that, the problem is if you try to do it manually, you'll not compete with those guys. They're gonna beat you every time because they're gonna push their ad above yours, even if it's for the same thing you're searching for. You might search for restaurants and find something downriver that's popping up on display ads everywhere you go because they've got money behind it. So But if we're really concerned about that, and I think it is important, we should talk to James and do something with him, because that's the solution to make that work. Unfortunately, now there's no free way of doing it anymore. There's too many people in the game. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, our next meeting is April 9th, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. Like to adjourn?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Have a great evening, everybody. Appreciate your time.
You too.